Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Paige, this is Seeking Alexandria, and I know what you're thinking. Paige, this is supposed to be part 2 of a first impressions video. You don't look at all like you did in the last video. Whatever could have happened? Well, you guys, you love it when I'm honest, so you're about ready to just saddle up and get a whole shit ton of honesty. So, basically, I went to upload the footage into my computer so I could start the rendering process for all 5 of this week's videos, and thank God I did, because the main video for this part was corrupted, so this whole video had to be scrapped, which was all the first impressions that I did on the rest of the face. So here's what we are going to do. Today is like a second or third first impression. Basically, I'm going to go back through all the products. I'm still going to put them all on my face. I just want to talk to you about them this time because obviously the first impression was in that video, but since I've used these items a couple of times and I actually have some thoughts on them. So we're just going to do that, and we're going to hope that it's okay. But before I do that, I also have an update on this Fenty, Fenty palette. There we go, Moroccan Spice palette. This is the video that will have went up yesterday. I talked about it a ton, and I've used it now a few days, and honestly, you guys, I'm not obsessed with this palette. Like, I tried to go for this moment on my eyes today. They ended up just being blendy. Oh my god. They ended up more or less not wanting to blend. That's where I was going with that. They were kind of patchy. They just, for some reason, I'm having a really difficult time with these shadows, and like the mess in here is insane. I don't know if it'll pick up on camera how messy this palette has become, but it is truly like the bane of my existence. I find that some of these mattes are blending very nicely. Today I tried to blend a couple mattes together. They didn't want to blend. I tried to apply this shimmer up here. Had a hell of a moment with that. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's just so many different textures, and like, I don't know if they're inconsistencies, if they're meant to be different formulas. I'm not sure. But you guys, I am not obsessed with this. Like, I might even try to find a way to return this. So that's my update for you on this guy, because I don't know if what it is with like me and Fenty shadows. I don't know if other people are loving this. The other issue that I'm having while I'm on the topic, by the way, is there's not a lot of cohesion for me with the colors in this palette and my skin tone. I can't wear a lot of these by themselves, and then I try to pair them and they just don't look good. They look patchy, they look funny. I was so excited to use that blue shade, but then every time I tried to pair it with one of these other colors over here, it just didn't, for me, it just, the whole thing just isn't working out. I would love to know your guys' thoughts on this palette down below, though. Definitely tell me what you think. But for me, I am not loving this. It is what's on my eyes today, though. I just worked a couple colors, the darker ones, into the crease. I will show you in case you are curious. I worked, come on now, this purple into the main crease, and then I deepened it up a little bit with this brown up here. I put this shimmer right here on the lid, and that's about it. And it's just, no matter what I try to blend it out, and it's like, this eye was so bad I actually wiped it off and started over, and this is my second attempt, so no thank you on that. So that's my update on the palette. Now we're gonna jump in to the rest of the products. And P.S. I think that I will also be leaving the thumbnail for that video the same, because I really don't feel like reshooting a thumbnail. So you know what, if you clicked on that and you're like, why do you look funny, girl, I don't have any other explanations for you. But let's jump into primer, because this primer I've actually been kind of loving. This is the Lancôme LaBase Pro Pore Eraser, oil-free, basically just a pore minimizing, pore erasing moment. And what I found about this is that it's very rare for me that I find a pore minimizing primer, or anything really, that actually looks like it makes a difference after I have foundation on. I'm actually going to zoom you guys in a little bit for this part. So I'm just going to take, it's kind of like this white, it reminds me a lot of that Tarte pore minimizing one that everybody's obsessed with, except for me. I'm still not a big fan. But you take it, and I really work it into this area, and I don't know if it'll show up on camera or not, but you guys, it really does make a huge difference in the way that my skin looks in real life. Like, I'm actually really impressed, and I did this yesterday with the foundation combination I'm going to go in with today for this video, and I'm really impressed with it. Now, as a lot of you know, or you might not know if you are new, I do not test a new primer and a new foundation at the same time. So again, that's why it's not a new foundation. We went in with this new primer instead. I just like to keep things as consistent as possible, and I find that if I go in with a new foundation and a new primer, how am I supposed to know which one I love, hate, or both? So now that that's all worked in, again, I don't know if it'll ever show up on camera, but this whole area right here is just so nice and like velvety smooth. It's like there are no pores through here, but on this side there are none. So let's prime that side, shall we? You guys, I was so bummed about my corrupt file. You don't even understand. I mean, you probably can understand because it would be frustrating for anybody, but I was so freaking annoyed, and I even downloaded software to try and like reverse it or, you know, transform it into a usable file. No dice, like nothing would work, and I was just like, of course not. Why would it work? And, you know, honestly, it's moments like that that I get so freaking discouraged, and I'm like, why do I even do YouTube? And then I thought about it, and I was actually talking to my dad, and he's like, kid, you always say you've got the greatest subscribers. Like, if they're as great as you say, they'll understand. And I was like, you know what, Dad, you're right. They will understand. And so, like, I honestly believe, like, 95% of you will. So I'm not worried about it. Just dab my little eyes. Tearing. Just kidding. Not tearing up. I'm just so emotional. More like my eyes are leaking. Get you guys moved back out there a little bit. For today's combination, we're going to go back in with this. You guys, I've been wearing this a ton. It is the Dior Backstage foundation mixed in with the Catrice HD liquid foundation. I love these two together. They make a fabulous combo. So let me do this real quick, and I'm going to be right back, yo. Alright guys, that is it. That's where we're at right now. If you'll notice, there is a little bit possibly of like acne popping through, and as you know, my acne has gotten a lot better as of late, but I've been focusing my foundation routine around not having it get really cakey, and the best way to do that is just to not apply as much. So I've been really focused on combinations like this where I can get a great amount of coverage with a really nice long wearing foundation. So we are going to go through, there will be more coverage on my face later, but just as like a little reminder, if you have an issue with cakey foundation or anything like that, going less on the foundation is key. So whatever it takes, whatever you have to mix in to get more coverage is definitely important. Now, this has also been my secret weapon, my homeboy. It was in my favorites video. You guys know what I'm talking about. Holy shit, you guys. This Born This Way concealer, I love this. Love this. Like, dare I say, almost more than my Shape Tape. I know. We are just equally shocked at this moment. I love this so much. Allow me to use it as my concealer today. This is beautiful as far as how it sits on the under eye. It blends in with every foundation I have tried. And so many of you were like, hey, we would love a review on that. And instead of reviewing it alone, I figured I would put it in this video. And while I blend it out, we would just talk about it. So, first of all, shade range is pretty good. Now, I get the shade Swan, and I'm pretty sure like this might be their lightest shade or close to their lightest shade, which I feel like they should have, you know, like a lighter, almost verging on white concealer, like what ColourPop did. Those concealers work so great for brightening up very fair skin. So I hope that if the day comes that they could expand in that direction. However, this foundation is so good. And if you're wondering why I do that, if you're new here, I know it probably looks a little bit crazy. I understand. Around my mouth, I feel like it always gets very oxidized. So I always add brightening concealer around the mouth area to help bring it forward. That way, if it oxidizes throughout the day, no matter what, the middle of my face still stays nice and light. Again, concealer and makeup in general are all about personal preference. I also run a little bit along my jawline. This concealer does such a beautiful job at brightening up the face. Like, I cannot speak enough about how beautiful it looks on the skin. I'm so impressed with this. So if you are someone that is looking for a nice concealer, if you've tried Tarte Shape Tape and you feel like it's a little bit too drying for your skin, I really feel like you should give this a try. This has beautiful coverage. It has a beautiful look to the sheen. It has beautiful coverage. It has a beautiful look to the skin, but it's not a luminous concealer. It's just beautiful. To me, this is almost like if you took that Flower Beauty Light Illuminating Concealer, how that has a really dewy, beautiful look to the skin. If you took that concealer and mixed it with a Tarte concealer, it's almost like that moment where it's luminous, but it's not dewy. But it's covered, but it's, you know, but it works on like oil skin. So it has undertone of mattified moment to it. I don't know what it is, you guys. I fully did not anticipate loving this because, as you know, I am a Shape Tape like queen, just like most of everyone else in the world. And I love Shape Tape. And what I've noticed is that this actually blends better with a lot of foundations than my Shape Tape because, again, so many people complained that Shape Tape is so drying. And instead what I have found is that this is not drying. It mixes with literally every foundation I've tried, even stick foundations. And the only other thing I'm going to say, and then I promise I'll be done with my rave here, but I am so impressed with the way that this melds with the skin. There is something about this concealer that in and of itself, it is almost pore minimizing. I find that it reduces the appearance of texture on my cheek. Anywhere that I put it, it just helps go whoo. And the only other concealer I've ever had do that was Tarte, the Shape Tape, and it didn't even do it this well. Like, this is just so stinking beautiful. I am a huge diehard fan of this, so that is my review of this concealer. Now, this is where the review and the situation got interesting because if you've been watching my channel for any length of time, you know I do not cream contour, and I picked up some of these Fenty sticks. You guys, I'm really impressed with this one stick in particular. It has been my favorite. I've actually used this a few times now and really, really enjoyed it. This is the shade Amber of the contour stick. And I love this color for fair skin. I take this just like, you know, you're supposed to take contour, and I run it right here. Okay, Paige, look in the mirror, not in the viewfinder. Oh, my sweet Jesus. And I run like a decent amount of this because, again, big man face. You guys remember, man face, man pores, man hands, man head. Big old man canvas right here. So I really like to, you know, bring it in. And the one thing I will say is that because I have acne right now, this side looks a little bit funny when I blend it out. You'll see in a second. Because when it kind of hits acne, I think a lot of times stuff like this can look funny. But then I take and I've been running it up along this area. Because your girl needs a smaller 5 head. And I'm going to run it on the jawline a little bit here, and I even run it on the sides of my nose. And again, you guys know me, like if you're new here, you're going to be like, what the hell is she doing? I am the type of person, I don't take contouring my nose like super duper seriously. I never have. Even when I run like bronzer on the side of it, I'm very haphazard. So whatever there, I mean, people are going to get mad either way. But what I find for me is that when I blend this out, it has this weird thing where it blends out, but it doesn't like move. And I don't understand. Like, normally if you blend out a cream product, I feel like it kind of moves around a little bit, right? But not this one. It goes exactly where I leave it. Like, my nose is slightly snatched. That's kind of what I go for on the nose because, again, I do like adding the bronzer still and I don't want it to look overdone. But I find that this just gives me like that nice little slight contour illusion. But the cheeks for me are what are just so crazy when I'm all done. Hold on, you'll see in a second. I mean, look at that. Like, that looks so good. And again, I know it looks a little bit harsh because I'm so fair, but after I powder and everything, I just find that this looks so beautiful. And like dead on, it gives me this nice, like natural shadow moment. Like, wow, my hair looks so good. I just realized we never addressed that moment. That's nice. But how nice is that? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I feel like I don't put on a ton of it. I actually put on more and then I blend and like work a lot of it back off. But what I really, really like about this is just that subtle shadowing that I feel like as a really, really fair person, it can be really difficult to get this type of a shadow moment without going in and like being overdoing it with bronzer, but then you still don't ever get like that shadowed effect. And what I love about, you'll see here shortly, when I add bronzer on top of this, it just looks so like naturally shadowed instead of a really, really harsh. I mean, you can harshly contour it, obviously, but I don't know. I just love the look of it. Now, I also did pick up these other two. This is the Porcelain one, and you're supposed to be able to like contour with it. It's this like nice white shade. But here, I'll show you the issue that I have with this, okay? It's not light enough. Like, it doesn't do anything for me in the way of, you know, adding lightness where I need there to be light. The one thing that I do with this, just, you know, I guess as a extra whatever, I take it and I put it underneath of the contour on the sides back here just to sharpen up that area, but that's not necessary. You could use concealer for that. You know, you can use a lot of other things. I personally am not a big fan of this. Personally, not living for it. But you know me, always trying to find a use for something. The other thing that I picked up that I did not love then and I do not love now, this is in Starstruck. This is one of their shimmery sticks. You guys, I tried applying this on my face, like right here, you know, it's supposed to go on with the creams. It is so hard. It picks up and removes my foundation. I do not like it. To get this, I have to push so hard. Like, if I just push lightly, there's literally nothing. Like, there's a slight glow, and if I run this on my face, it picks up all my foundation. I do not like this. I do not recommend this. Quite frankly, the only thing for fair skin that I recommend is that amber color for the contour. That I really love, but as far as the rest, honestly, I could leave them. But I really like this one. Yes. Another thing that I did really like though for storage is if you find that you like these, how they all stick together like this in this moment. I feel like this would be really nice for travel as well as just general makeup storage. They can sit standing up, they can lay flat on top of something. You're not going to have to worry about really losing them as long as they all literally stick together. So I thought that that was a really nice touch. Now, let's go ahead, let's dot our I because girl, I'm about ready to tear up. And let's move on to powders. So as far as these go, you guys, I did pick up the Huda Beauty setting powders. These I was so excited about. I picked up two different colors, the white one in Sugar Cookie and then this guy over here in Cupcake. Now what I find is that Cupcake is so much darker than Sugar Cookie. I have to use Sugar Cookie under the eyes. I can mix the two under the eyes and it looks okay, but really Sugar Cookie is what gives me that really nice bright under eye, and it doesn't look too overwhelming. I thought for sure, I was like, we're gonna have a moment on our hands where we look absolutely off. I'm gonna look like I put flour all over my face. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna apply that for you guys here. I'm just gonna take a cleaner-ish spot on this Beauty Blender and re-pat out my concealer because girl, you know I crease in like 10 seconds. And now we're just gonna take this and we're going to apply a nice little helping of Sugar Cookie right under the eyes. Yep. You guys, these are quite scented. And girl, you will choke on it. I mean, it still gets me, and I've used them for like 3 days now. Whew. That scent is intense, and I was really hoping it would smell like cookies, but it don't smell like cookies. There's still a mosquito in here. And I will be applying this everywhere that I put concealer. Again, just because I really like to brighten up this whole area, and I promise it won't look this crazy forever. Wow, I look so good right now. Now, here is the thing, and this is something that I do want to show you guys because it's a revelation I had on camera, actually. So this is how they come with this little silk screen in right here. This is actually the one from Sugar Cookie that I just put all over my face. I found, and I don't know if I'm the only one, you guys can comment if you had this issue too, I could not for the life of me get any powder with this damn screen on. I actually went in with a pair of tweezers. You can remove it. That way I am dunking into just straight up powder. It does make it messier, but honestly, you guys, I literally could not get any powder out through that little screen. I don't know if it's just me. I was taking my little blender here and I was dunking it in, man, dunking and dunking. Nothing was happening and it was beyond frustrating for me. So I did leave this one on. I'm going to remove it now that I've showed you, but I just wanted you guys to know because if you have that issue, you are not alone. And now that I have that removed, the other thing I want to mention is actually right here in the box that these powders come in. They do give you directions on the inner lid. It said, dip dense brush or beauty sponge into the powder, pack a generous amount under the eyes, through the temples, the T-zone, all that good stuff. Let the powder bake for 3 to 5 minutes while applying the rest of your makeup. Using a fluffy brush, gently dust away excess powder. So these are meant for baking. I don't believe that they're meant to be like full-on intense setting powders, so you could still go through when some people, when they remove this portion of their makeup, they actually do it with another powder, whether it be a setting powder, another foundation powder for more coverage, whatever. But they do go in and they, you know, do that step, and as they're brushing it away, they brush it away with more powder. You can do that. I find that these actually do a really nice job of setting my makeup. I don't know that I would use them in place of my Airspun for my whole face, but they've been working pretty well so far. And actually what I wanted to show you is how I use the shade Cupcake right here. Now I do not use, you can if you really like a sharp intense contour. I do not like that look, so I do not use Sugar Cookie underneath the contoured lines. I will actually go in with this one and take it because it is just a little bit darker, and I will run that right here And I find that you can see that it is a little bit darker than those ones, but it's still a little bit darker, or wait, what am I trying to say? It's a little darker than Sugar Cookie, but it's also lighter than the contour. So it still contrasts and brings it forward and, you know, makes it look really nice right there. So I just kind of pat this on and leave it set for a few minutes. And then when these are done baking, we are going to move on to the next portion. Okay, you guys, so we've been baking. I think we are good to go. So I'm going to go in with this big old jumbo. This is the Heavenly Luxe Jumbo Powder Brush, number 3 from IT Cosmetics. Get it at Ulta. And we're just going to brush away all of this. We're going to ignore that damn phone because it won't stop going off. And just like, look at how nice and like, it's still a sharp contrast, but it's not like so overpowering. And what I like to do while I'm doing this, instead of just like brushing it away, I take this powder and I kind of swoop it down and I lightly brush it over this one little area in here that I did not set. And what I find is that it kind of gives it a little bit of setting without making it too much. That way when I go in with bronzer, the bronzer doesn't just stick to it because it's still creamy. All right, so we are looking good. We are looking fresh and contoured. We look good, right? Okay, I'm loving this. Now, I did not have a new bronzer. However, I didn't need a new bronzer because I was like, why would I use a new bronzer when I did that contour? I want to show you what it looks like with something you've seen me use before. So I'm going to go in with my Hourglass Luminous Bronze Light Powder. I love this stuff. I use it all the time. And I'm going in with the Velvet Luxe Plush Powder Brush 313. This is part of the Velvet Luxe line, I believe. Yeah, Velvet Luxe from IT Cosmetics. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to apply it like I normally do. And just like, look at how beautiful that contour kind of like comes through the bronzer a little bit. And it really does look like a beautiful shadow on the cheek. Like, I love the way that these look together. And I really like this bronzer with this because it has a little bit of luminosity to it. It's not a matte bronzer. So where the contour by itself kind of is very flat and boring and matte inside the skin, this kind of comes along and gives the skin a little bit of not only summer warmth, shut up, but also that beautiful little lilt of like shimmer and shine and just overall sun-kissed cuteness that we're kind of going for. And I did try this with another bronzer the other day. It was the matte bronzer in the Park Ave Princess palette. That also looks beautiful. I did that yesterday. It's not nearly as like, you know, summer beachy glowy moment as this one is, but it still does look really, really beautiful. And because we took that powder when we removed all of our bake and we lightly kind of swiped it over the contour, none of this powder is like sticking really harshly to it. So it just looks really, really like nice and natural and soft with a shadow, as opposed to being like sticky and weird trying to put this over it instead of another powder. So I love the way that this looks. Oh my God, do I love the way that this looks. Oh my God, like I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling myself. I'm a mighty fine woman and I'm feeling myself. Okay, so on to blush, which in my defense, before you see it, I picked it for 2 reasons. Number 1, the title of that palette that from Fenty, which you would have already seen, was Moroccan Spice. And I thought that this was a great moment, along with that really loud car outside, to introduce this intense looking blush. Then I saw a video from Wayne Goss, and he introduced a blush called NARS. I think it was Exhibit A, and I was like, that is way too intense. But when I saw this one from e.l.f., that looks so similar. And actually, I'm gonna try to pull up that picture of his that I'm talking about right now, because there is a screenshot of NARS Exhibit A on the internet, and I died because to me they look so similar. So that is it next to another one. But seriously, I mean, come on, you guys, it's so similar looking that I was like, well, now I have to try this. Like, I have to know if it's any good. All right, you guys, all of that comparison aside, I really have been enjoying this blush. We all know e.l.f. is super, super affordable, but I can tell you that any one of these infused, primer infused products, their bronzer was actually in my favorites or a favorite of mine recently, and that one has a ton of pigment to it. So does this. Like, you tap in, and even after you tap off, you have enough to do like your whole cheek, and girl, it's a lot. And you blend it out and it looks so stinking cute. But just remember, always use a light hand with this blush. And I was really attracted to it because at first I was like, there's no way this is going to look good. And it'll look good here in a second because I actually just did exactly what I did in that video. And I was like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? This is too much. And I will show you. how I fixed it in that video. But girl, I'm only doing it to this side because no thank you. So we get the video here. Now we're like, oh my God, what do I do? Why is this so intense? Well, I introduced this little fella, which, oh my God, is this fantastic. This is the Anna Sui Brightening Face Powder. I got this from Beautylish, and we tried one of their primers in another first impression video that I did. It was also a pore minimizing smoothing primer moment. But this, I didn't buy the little container apparently that it goes in, so here it sits in a plastic container. But you guys, this powder is beautiful. It is really, really white. It has this super cute like little moment detail on it. Again, don't look at me, camera. Focus on the powder. This is beautiful. Take my beauty blender, or whatever the hell you have here for a sponge, and watch this brightening moment just happen. Oh my gosh. But again, doesn't flash, doesn't look funny. And the way that I've been working this over top of my blush, I've been loving the way that this looks lately. Taking any kind of a powder like this, whatever I use to reshape my face, and I run it down over the top end of my blush, like everything in this area. And I just kind of run all the leftover product down my face. And I feel like it opens up that whole area just a little bit more. Like it just pushes everything down, makes it just look so much more awake and bright under the under eye. And at the same time, there's still blush under here, but it pulls through after I set my face, and it just looks, oh God, it really helps add like a kissed look to the skin without looking like I applied a ton of blush. And I love that look. Oh girl, and like look at just, oh, I don't know. I love it. And again, I know it looks crazy. This is one of those like techniques that I'm starting to develop where my makeup almost looks crazy right up until the very end. But moral of my story, I love this powder. It does such a beautiful job at bringing light to the center of the face, under the eyes, wherever I put it. It just, oh, I love this powder. And again, I got this from Beautylish. So you can bet your fancy little ass this is where I cheated. You guys, this is where I go in with setting spray. And I tested out this Cover FX High Performance Setting Spray. First of all, you'll notice that it has the same nozzle as a Urban Decay thing. And that's because I traded it with an Urban Decay bottle that I had laying around over here, because the spray is a really fine mist, but literally I could not get any to come out of the sprayer. It was like to get like one quadrant of my face. I could not get anything to come out. So I switched the sprayer, which then the sprayer worked great, but I hate this setting spray. It made my face, after I applied it and put it all over, it made my face feel so stiff and sticky. I couldn't even like bend my cheeks. Like to do this, it felt like I was cracking plaster. That's what this felt like. I did not enjoy this. I mean, even momentarily. My biggest issue with this stuff, you guys, was that afterwards, when I was all said and done, I'm done spraying. And you know how when you're spraying, sometimes you hit your chest, whatever, down here. Well, afterwards, I went like this and I stuck my hand to my chest, and my hand physically stuck to my chest. I mean, like, and when I lifted it, like my chest came with it. I was like, that's disgusting. And so I rubbed my chest a little minute because I was like, what the hell is that? And as I rubbed it, like little pills were coming up. I don't know what the hell they put in this. I just do not like it. The formula does not work for me. Made my chest sticky, made my face sticky, and made it really just plastery. I understand that it's supposed to be high performance and last all day and all that, but no. You know what else does that? My all-nighter, and I don't have any of those issues. So we're going to kindly put this guy right over here, and we're going to move on to highlighter and spray my face, because I love to spray my face. So now, you guys, it's time for the fabulous, the infamous highlight moment. This is what everyone was so curious about. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Bar of Gold palette. I have used this a couple times. Let me show you my first complaint. You should be able to figure it out pretty quickly. You see how dirty that is? Like, what the hell's going on, Charlotte Tilbury? What is happening here? Like, I tried to run my brush through the pans, and that's what it looks like. It just goes everywhere. And I've talked about this before. I've mentioned it. One of my favorite palettes of all time is the Hourglass metallic whatever. It was the silver one. They released it last winter around Christmas, and it had the 3 colors just like this in their big, beautiful Hourglass pans. That's actually worth the price, Hourglass, because my God, we'll get into size in a second. But because they put them so close together and there wasn't this giant ribbon of space in between them, they don't make all that dirt. They don't produce so much fall out and kick all over the place. You're able to run in between all 3 pans and it's not a big deal. With this one, you want to run in between all 3 pans. You're like doing a lot of this and half your product goes all over the place, which for me is really disappointing because I love palettes like this because I get to run them all together and then you get a little bit from each color. You know, you get the really nice like light paint, light champagne, the pink, the bronze. I said light pain. We're just going to move right by that apparently. And I love that aspect of palettes like this because for once, as a pasty person, I get to wear more colors. That's the whole draw for people like me. And then you do this to me, Charlotte, and you put all this crap. Like, look at that. I can fit more than a full brush in between there. Like, look at that. There's still room left over. And that is just not acceptable. You could have given me more product for the price. So disappointing. Now, speaking of product you get, these are 0.08 ounces a piece. So I always talk about this. Standard Urban Decay shadows are 0.05. So these are not even the size of 2 Urban Decay eyeshadows put together. That to me, so disappointing. I mean, so disappointing. Especially when you figure out like the cost of this, which how much was this? Hold on, let me get all my facts in a row because you know your girl shot that video a couple days ago and I don't remember everything. You guys, this was $58. So just round up. This is say 60. That is $20 per little moment right here. I'd just like to put that in perspective. This Park Ave Princess palette was like less than that. This was like what, 48 or 54 or something like that. And look at this. Like, look at the difference, you guys. Come on. The Amrezy highlight. Like, there's so many. I mean, granted, I know that there's only, you know, 1 color in here. But how big is the actual pan? 0.31 ounces. This entire thing is 0.08, so 612. This entire palette is less than this big ass highlight right here. Like I just, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm the only one that has this issue. I know Charlotte Tilbury, it's high on luxury, blah, 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 blah. But giving me amount of, like the right amount of product, that should be universal across the board. Even Hourglass gives us these big ass pans. And yes, Hourglass is expensive, but look at the size of the pan you get. It's a really nice size. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe it's just my tangent over. It does apply beautiful. All of that being said, all my bitching aside, I would keep this. I do think it's a great highlight. It melds into the skin stunningly, actually. Like, I'm really impressed. Of course, my favorite shade is this guy right over here. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to apply that. But girl, you know we have to reset that face because you got to have a damp highlight in my house. Because that's just how we roll. And I do still kind of meld it through all 3, but it just makes a mess and kit goes everywhere, which kind of sucks. And then while my face is a little bit damp, this is how I do every highlight. I kind of lightly tap into the skin while it's wet. A, because I don't want to disturb the ground underneath, but I also want to press that highlight in a little bit. I'll do a little bit to the other side, real quick like. And now that we have that nice little base down where we kind of pushed it into the skin, now we really go and we highlight. What's beautiful about this is that it's a really nice buildable highlight. You can have a more glowy sheen to the skin. You can have a more blinding appearance, which, as we all know, that's my personal aesthetic. I love it so much. And yeah, I just kind of build it up until I feel like I'm glowing and I can actually see the door of heaven with my face. Like, look at that. I'm sorry. It does build up beautiful. And I know for all the crap that I just said about this highlight, it really is a nice option. I just, like, it's such a mess because I'm trying to go between all 3 pans. And even if you individually hit them, like, look at how messy. Okay, you cannot see how messy this is. I'm trying to find a way to, like, bounce it off my arm so you can see. Look at how messy that mirror is. And then look at how messy the pan itself is. Like, they're just, the whole moment is so damn messy. Okay, guys, we are looking glowy. I am going to go ahead. I'm going to blend this area because I always blend my blush into my highlight because it's how I do things. I know, I do things really weird here. It's the way of my people. So, I'm going to go do all of this. I'm going to throw on some lashes, all that good stuff, and I will be right back. Okay, you guys, went ahead, threw everything on. Now, in that video, I did throw on a pair of Lily lashes. They were a new first impression. They were opulence, and I can't find them, but I did not like these. I didn't like the band. I didn't like the way that they sat on my eye. I felt no matter how much I trimmed them down, they were really stabby. So I wasn't a fan of those. For today, I just put on Demi Wispies. I was like, I'm just so exhausted from this day, and I haven't even done anything yet. So that's all I did for today. And then for the lips, I actually went in with this beautiful combination. Not in the video. This is just for today. This is the shade Name Drop by ColourPop. This is one of their shades, right? And I don't use, I mean, I use the ColourPop ones a ton, but I don't use that shade a lot. But over top of that, I put the Becca Chrissy Teigen like collab over top. This is Glow Gloss, and it's in the shade Peach Nectar. Look at my lips. Do you see the shine? Like, are you kidding? This is so... Hold on, make sure there's a good ass swatch on my hand. Because, girl, this gloss, it's so beautiful. It has, like, these really tiny, finely milled, like, tiny little specks of glitter in it. But it's so finely milled that it doesn't look like glitter or act like glitter. It just reflects the light so beautifully. I tried putting it down first by itself. It's not quite opaque enough to wear alone with this much makeup, but it is really beautiful by itself as well. I really like this. It's so comfortable. Like, I feel like it sits beautifully, and it's not like moving or shifting. And if you've been to my channel for longer than 10 minutes, you know that like my gloss, it moves all over the place because my lips are just not the best lips. They're kind of tiny, crinkly ass little lips. I don't have these nice, beautiful, full of Botox lips, if you know what I'm saying. And so for me, glosses and things like that really slip and slide and move around. But this is stunning. Do I have any on my teeth? But you guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed my first impression of these products. I really hope that you guys are super understanding of this. I know that like 99% of the time, you guys are always so understanding and so sweet with me about, you know, when shit happens, because it does happen and footage gets corrupted and stuff just goes awry. So thank you guys again for always understanding and being so supportive and so sweet. And also, I just wanted to say real quick, thank you guys so much for loving my hair. I know today it looks a little flat. I wanted to go with like a more sleek look, so I kind of left all the layers together. I don't know, I just want to, I'm playing with different shapes for the hair, but you guys have been so sweet and so supportive of like my hair and like all the different ways I've been trying it and wearing it and testing it, and just thank you guys so much for always being so awesome. Whether it's a video or my makeup or when I think everything looks bad or my hair or whatever, you guys are always there to tell me that you love me even though I'm so weird and crazy and odd, and you support me. So I can't tell you how much that means to me. In a world full of assholes, you guys are my shining little stars. Thank you so much, you guys. And as always, please don't forget, check the description box. All my social medias are listed down there. Most of the time I'm on Instagram and Twitter. Not gonna lie, that's where you'll find me the most. If you only want to be on 2 apps, those are the ones for me. Pictures on one, and then like just a bunch of commenting and stuff on the other. Mainly Instagram. I love it because I can really connect with you guys. So thanks again, and have a great day, night, weekend, whatever it is when you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next one. Sorry that my face right now doesn't match my thumbnail. What you gonna do? What you gonna do about that? Ah! This is the Lancôme LaBase Pro blah blah. I don't think that's enough paint, girl. We need a lot of paint. We are gonna paint this world with foundation. But not too much, because we don't want to look like kicky bitches. Oh, frosting.
I think this turned out like perfect.
Mmm.
Isn't that good, right?
That's so good.
Honey, that's batch 1. There's going to be more batches to follow, but isn't that good?
It's so good, Mom.
Thank you.
I knew I loved you.
Oh, thanks.
Well, now, what in the hell is going on all up in her? All up in her. What the hell is going on all up in her? All up in her. Who do you think you are, Mr. Big Star? What? You're never gonna get my love. Oh, yeah. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Where the hell did that spray go? Oh, what the hell do you know? You ain't knowing nothing about me. I'm not like rolling on top of it, am I? I think I have powder up my nose. I do not enjoy this. Excuse me, ma'am. Get out of there, please. Girl, you know what else we're gonna do? We're gonna fix this damn hair because you looking so not good right now. It's a wonder that they still watch your ass. Oh, well, hello, blended cheeks. How are you today? Oh, I'm sorry. Are those cheeks blended or am I just crazy? Oh, no, they're blended, bitch. They're blended. You know, Paige, if you were any weirder, I think the world would physically hurt from how odd you are. Like, There would just be pain in the world because you're so weird. Yes, living my best new hair life. This is so cute. So cute, so cute. Look at my hair move. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Oh my God. Becky, look at her. It is so poofy. She looks like one of those girls that got her head trapped in a light socket. Okay.